The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Pit Life BBQ podcast. Join us around the pit as we talk all things barbecue. Now here is your host, Johnny Maggs.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Life BBQ podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Maggs. Man, do we got an episode for you today. We are joined by, yes, I'm going to say it, the Grill Dads. Ryan Fey and Mark Anderson of the Grill Dads. You know them, obviously, from the Grill Dads, but also Food Network programs and all that good stuff. But first, before we bring the boys on, today's show is brought to you by Uncle Steve's Shake. You ever wonder why there's a line of people trying to get into your neighbor's backyard when they're having a barbecue, but nobody's fighting their way into yours? Why do I got the gloves on already?
I don't know.
Because they're using Uncle Steve's Shake. That's why. Uncle Steve's Shake is handmade using the finest ingredients. Comes in 12 incredible flavors, including the competition line, and a very small batch, so you got to keep checking the website for the barbecue sauce with no name. Very limited, comes out here and there. But any questions of Uncle Steve's Shake? Call him right up. He's going to answer the phone. He is the customer service, and he will answer any of your shake questions or needs. Just go to UncleStevesShake.com. Tell him we sent you, and he might throw a little something extra in there for you. So that's Uncle Steve's Shake. Also today brought to you by Two Guys Smoke Shop and TwoGuysCigars.com. Whether we are barbecuing or not, we always keep the smoke rolling thanks to our friends at TwoGuysCigars.com. Today I am smoking the Nesta Miranda Special Selection Connecticut coffee break size.
You nailed it.
How about that?
Yeah.
I've done this once or twice.
How are you enjoying it?
This is very good.
It's a very nice cigar.
It's light, so it's a great morning cigar, or any time for that matter.
Not too expensive. I think it's about $7.69.
Hey, that's a deal right there.
Value.
Pretty good.
Yep.
Thanks to our friends at TwoGuysCigars.com, we get to smoke some of the best cigars in the world, and so can you. Just visit TwoGuysCigars.com for your perfect barbecue companion. That's the number 2GuysCigars.com. Also brought to you by Backline Smokers and Backline Fabrication. Ryan Newland is creating some of the badass pits on the market today, coming out of Austin, Texas. If you can think it, Ryan can build it. He's a one-man team. He is doing your build from soup to nuts. You know, he has his competition line pits from anywhere from 250 gallons, 500,000 gallons, to his crazy multi-tool, which is the giant charcoal grill, swing-out grates, a swing-out plancha, some hangers for that Argentinian style.
I like that.
Wild stuff. He has multi-grills, grill one side, flat top on the other. Ryan takes everything, sits down and has a conversation with you, and just takes mental notes, and then he just runs with it. You will get stuff on your build that you absolutely love but would never have thought of putting on it. But that's just how Ryan's brain works. Check him out at Backline Fab and Backline Smokers on social media. Also brought to you by, all right, now I'm ready, Magna Chef gloves. My brother Alan Fonte knows a little something about fire management. He's a Miami-Dade firefighter, so he can stand the heat. He has designed these gloves from the beginning and left nothing unturned. Food-grade silicone, patented magnetic clips for an easy on and off. You don't drop it, stays right there. Get right back in. Heat rated up to 500 degrees. Web fit, the old Dr. Spock, for a firm grip. One size fits all. Dishwasher safe. Comes in 5 different colors. We have the blue, black, red, even though the blue sometimes looks purple on the screen.
It's blue.
But also orange and green. And the green is a neon green. It actually glows in the dark.
No way.
Oh, yeah. Wild stuff. Wild stuff. So order yourself a couple pairs of these. One for the barbecue trailer, one for the backyard, one for the kitchen. You won't be disappointed. These gloves are incredible. Check them out at magnachef.com. That's MAGNECHEF.com. And at checkout, use the code ROYAL21. That's ROYAL21 for 15% off your purchase. Magna Chef gloves, master the fire. And brought to you, certainly not least, CustomCuttingBoardsRUs.com. Brother Ian Hemming is making what I consider the Yeti of cutting boards out of Magnolia, Texas. These cutting boards take an absolute beating. I have had mine for 4 years right now. There's a few nicks and scratches, but nothing wild that you'd get from a standard, plastic cutting board.
I've got the dishwasher board.
Yeah.
Use it all the time.
Yeah.
Heavy duty. The feet on it are incredible.
Yeah.
Doesn't slip at all.
No. 100% dishwasher safe, high condensed UV protection, comfort slide-in protection, as Ed was saying. Even on a wet surface, it's not going anywhere. Multicolors available, deep lip reservoir to catch all the juices coming from the proteins you're cooking. You said the dishwasher board, which is your standard countertop size board.
It's a good size
Oh,
board.
it is. It's a good size.
Yeah, it's what you'd use in the kitchen.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And then you can get into the massive brisket board, 36 by 18. It is a monster. And also the new to the market pizza board for that perfect slice every time. Got the nice grooves,
Yep.
so your
Cut through
cutting
it
wheel
easily.
cuts, hits right through it. No problems. So check them out at CustomCuttingBoardsRUs.com. That is the letter R, us.com. All right, Ed. I'm
time.
excited. It is time. I've been waiting for this ever since Charlotte from Page Street emailed me that these boys were coming out with a book. I'm like, oh, I can't wait. I have been following these two gentlemen since the first time I saw them on Food Network. And I had messaged them before, and they broke my balls, if I'm buttering them up before the thing. But no. Just looking at that show, you could tell their passion they have and the excitement and energy for grilling, barbecue, and cooking in general. And just the attitude they had throughout the entire competition, so to speak. I had the feeling right off the bat that these guys were going to win it, and lo and behold, they did. And so, enough of me running my fat mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ryan Fey and Mark Anderson, better known as the Grill Dads. What's up, fellas?
Hey, how are you, man?
I am doing fantastic.
You said gentlemen, so we were expecting other people to come in.
I was wondering if we should leave and have someone else come back in.
I like to class it up a little bit. You know what I mean?
We're the
we've been
wrong
called-
guests for that.
Well, I'm the wrong host for that.
You've been called a lot of things, sir. But gentleman's never been.
Gentlemen, isn't one? How about classy? Either that? No?
Nope, never been called that either.
Oh, okay. C-Mac, what's up? Mike C, Daddy Dutch, Pat Fisher, Gray Reiner, Brother CJ, Max Baez, calling you out, brother. Let's see. Get all the boys saying hello. Hans, what's happening? Big Rome in the house. TBC represented. Justin, what's going on? Tejano Cookers, what's going on? All right, fellas. So I usually start the show off by the same way of a little introduction of each of yous. You boys want to flip a coin? Who goes first, or do you want me to guess?
You guess.
All right, we're going to go Ryan. Let's go with you first.
All right, you got it. I'm up.
Who is Ryan Fey? How did you get into barbecue or grilling in your journey there, and what has led you to, where you are today?
Well, I'm originally from the great state of Ohio, and grew up in the Midwest, where there are two main categories of food: casseroles and meatloaf. And unfortunately, I didn't necessarily have a very culinarily inspired upbringing. A lot of fish sticks. The Schwan man would come down the lane and pull in with the big freezer trucks, and my dad would point for the Supreme Pizza and the Gold Nugget bars and maybe some other shit that I have no idea.
Oh, the Schwan's chicken Kiev was epic.
Okay, that's one of the few things out of the Schwan. Actually, that's not true. A lot of stuff I liked out of the Schwan's truck. But anyway, so I didn't have a whole lot of culinary choices. I think I grew up 30 minutes from a grocery store. So and I was an athlete, so I wanted to eat better, etc. So I started cooking at that point when I was pretty young, and then kind of moved into my career. Left the day after college. I went to Ohio University. That's where I met Mark during that time, and then left to New York City. But I ran a little bit of a hustle in college, where I would go out and buy some ingredients and charge people $5 for a meal, but I'd pocket the amount that was left. As Mark's pointed out, I'm not real good at math because I only have 2 feet. So I probably didn't necessarily make it as profitable as I thought it was. And then, I just fell in love with the grill, because to me, it's always been a tool and a heat source versus a type of food. Yeah. Barbecue to us is a cuisine, and grills are tools that we use with smoke and heat and fire.
Amen, brother.
Amen.
Awesome. Well, Mark, that means you're up.
Man, I hope this is exciting. So for me, grilling, I told the story before, but I mean, it was a real pivotal moment for me. My family was staying with my grandparents while we were waiting. We were moving, waiting to buy a house. And I smelled something at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. And it was like, like a Looney Tunes thing. It's like the smoke came into my room and opened the door. And then I floated outside, just to find that my grandfather was grilling pork chops on the Weber kettle grill at like 4 a.m. Now, as my Italian grandfather, Francis Mazzarelli, I was like, "Hey, Pop, what are you doing?" He's like, "Grilling pork chops." I'm like, "For what?" He's like, "For breakfast." I'm like, "I'm in. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life."
Body by pork chops.
Yeah, body by pork chops. So anyway, we, the whole time I was there that summer, and he, he's like, "Hey, we're going to make something for dinner." I'm like, "Hey, can we make sausage and peppers on the grill again?" And he said, yes. And then he would let me put the charcoal in and light it. So I kind of fell in love with it then. And then when I was a little bit older, I was like 14, I was a busboy at a restaurant, and it was a place that had a Sunday brunch. And the best phrase, the best thing I'd ever heard in my life was when the manager said, "Oh no, the omelet cook called in sick." And I was like, "Hold my bus tub. I got you." And I made like 200 omelets that day. And I absolutely loved it. So as much as I love cooking, I also love cooking for other people. So like literally 2 weeks after that, we had a little get together at my house, like a family get together. And I set up an omelet station. I had a line of 10 people in my family all waiting for Mark's custom omelets. So always loved to grill and always loved to, cook for other people.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. That's it. That's funny with the omelet. Hold my bucket. I'm in. Put me in, coach. I'm ready. And you haven't, and by the looks of it, you haven't turned back since.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. Kerry, what's up? Tim Rogers, Mike Tortorella, what's up, my brother? So, guys, how did you guys meet and then eventually form what everyone knows as the Grill Dads?
Go ahead, Mark.
So we met in college. We were going to different colleges. I was at The Ohio State University and Faye was at Ohio University. which, if you're in Texas or California, you probably think they're the same thing, but they are different schools. And, I was working with tour managing a band that was from his college, but was having some regional success. And they were good friends with Fey. And then, so I met him in Ohio briefly. And then Fey moved to New York City. And he was like the first grown up in our group and had like a real apartment and everything. And he peaked real early, by the way.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
True story. So anytime we would go out to New York City as with a band or something, we would stay at Fey's house, which he loved to host. And then I also started tour managing other larger national bands. And I used to lie to people and tell them I lived in New York City so that they would hire me and not write me off because they didn't want to pay for travel. And then I would crash on Fey's couch. And then as a thank you, I would make food for him and his roommates while I was there. So that's kind of how it all got started.
Yep. Sweet. All right, Billy, what's happening? Oh, we got the leprechaun.
Billy's on?
My cousin Billy. But yeah, he's on. But the leprechaun's in the house, also representing Ohio. So he should put the old OH in the chat at some point and wait for the IO. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. You guys know how it goes.
Of course.
Okay. So let's get to the TV portion of today's show.
Wow.
How did you guys get involved with Food Network and Guy Fieri?
So Fey was a founder of an advertising agency in LA, super successful. I ended up coming to work there for a while, and the agency blew up. We went from like 10 employees to 130 employees in like 18 months. So Fey and I went from doing cool things like having creative meetings to sitting around in a campfire at his house and doing sales forecasting and human resources personnel evaluations, which was necessary but not creative. So we kind of took our love for cooking and that advertising acumen for building content and building brands and building IP for other people, and created this brand called the Grill Dads. We made a trailer for a show. We called in a favor with a production company that we hired to do a lot of commercial work. They shot a trailer for us. We put it on Indiegogo. We didn't really want to take our friends and family's money. We just wanted to use Indiegogo to validate the idea. So we could go to California Visitors Bureau. We could go to Vice. We could go to Vox and say, hey, people want to see the show. Help us get it made. And during that time, I sent an email to Mark Summers, who was the host of Double Dare, but he also had a very great career on Food Network.
Yes.
He's one of the executive producers and creators of Restaurant Impossible. He was the host for Next Food Network Star and Unwrapped, all this stuff. So I just sent him an email and said, hey, I'm the better looking half of the Grill Dads. Would love to know what you think of our show. And I sent him a link to the Indiegogo thing. Went into a meeting, and then 10 minutes later, a Burbank phone number rang on my was coming in on my phone. I'm like, no way. So I excused myself from the meeting, took the call. It was Mark Summers. He's like, hey, who the fuck are you guys? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, are you chefs? Are you actors? I was like, no, we're advertising guys who love to cook. He's like, this is fucking great. He told us, this is the best cold submission I've gotten in 10 years. So he he said, hey, I'd like to ask Guy Fieri. So Mark was the host of Next Food Network Star when Guy won. So they've had a good relationship. And he's like, I'd like to ask Guy Fieri if he wants to co-executive produce a pilot with you guys, which we ecstatically said yes to. And then Guy decided he wanted to be involved. We launched the show through Guy's reality show called Guy's Big Project, which we were really skeptical about doing. But then
first of all, our parents said we had faces for radio. And secondly, we don't need the rest of the world to make fun of us any more than we already do. So it was kind of like, do we really want to go on a reality show? Probably
no.
No. But we did.
And we won.
And you won.
And we won. Here's the thing I'll tell you though we got some really good advice from a good friend of ours, Artie Sequoia, and we said, look, do you have any advice for us? Because a lot of times when they film me on these reality shows, they just kind of make you look like D-bags. And she goes, yeah, don't act like a D-bag. That's literally her advice for us on camera. I was like, all right, that makes sense. It's going to be a lot tougher for me to figure that out than Mark, but yeah, I'll do my best. Yeah.
Yep, he's right. I agree with all of that.
But yeah, you guys, like I said, you guys came out, you didn't come out across as D-bags. Like I said, in my opinion, you guys came out so genuine that it was you'd almost say that like it was like scripted of, how they do, the good guy versus bad guy type thing, cop versus robber. Because I know a few of the guys we've had on who did BBQ Pit Masters. One in particular was Robbie Royal. And even he says that he goes, the way I was presented in that show or represented in that show, I'm an asshole. And it is so far from the truth of who he is, but it's what makes great television.
Man, you hit it on the head. I mean, that's the fear that Mark and I had. But here's the interesting part. We just decided at the very beginning that we wouldn't do anything that we would never not do. Period. And we told them that. We won't go do that. We're not going to act like that. We're not going to say this. And we kind of stuck to it. And we also just had a pact to make everyone laugh. There's no funny in food. And so what we wanted to do is kind of bring this like buddy comedy thing that we already had. It's like, Mark's been an asshole for 25 years. I've been a nice guy.
True story.
Yeah. So, it's pretty easy to pit the Dumb and Dumbers against each other and have self-deprecating fun humor because it's real. That's the point, is like we are probably the ones that had the least acting ability of anyone in there because we didn't act. We just were like, fuck it. This is what we're going to do. So,
but you know what, though, the to your point with your friend that was on Pitmasters, like, I think I was more concerned about this than Fey, but
yes.
It's a very vulnerable feeling to know that they have between 5,000 and 8,000 minutes of footage per episode.
Yeah.
That gets 5,000 minutes gets edited down to 42 minutes, 44 minutes, whatever it is. And the reality is they can make you on the same episode look smart, stupid, happy, sad, angry, nice. They can do all of these things. And you know what? We did see some of that. I mean, there was one of the episodes where we went in to get judged, and everybody, Guy sat down and said, "Congratulations, you guys are going to the next round. You're going to make a pilot." And then when we watched the actual episode back, 6 months later, the whole thing was about how we totally effed up and almost got kicked off. We never knew any of that. And we, in that episode, I think it was episode 5, Faye and I did a piece of content within the content. So we had to make a segment within the show for the show. And we made this whole thing. And then somebody went into an edit room and edited together this piece of content to show within the show. And, we had this whole plan. We wrote it out. We did all this stuff. And the guy who edited it didn't know us, hadn't seen the stuff. Nice guy, but didn't get the humor. And when we watched the episode back, I was like, holy shit, I would have almost sent me home too. And it's like, it was really weird to have a show where they're asking us to be creative and come up with our own ideas and do that stuff. But then like, we don't even see what is getting submitted for judgment and stuff like that. So it's just Faye and I are take control of our own destiny sort of guys. And it just feels really reckless to let go of that and put it in the hands of other people. But thank God we won.
Awesome. Guys, give me 1 second. Ed, I have a question for you.
All right.
Which clock am I looking at?
You're not.
I know that. But I see one ticking on the bottom above the end live now. But then I see another one.
This is the actual time.
That's the actual time, as in it's 5:31 right now?
Correct.
Okay, I'll go by that one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a countdown clock to the end of time.
Yeah, well, normally I got this giant-ass timer on the top left of the screen, and it's not there. So it's throwing me off a little bit.
He's got a guest producer who fucked up, is what he's saying.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying you fucked up.
No, I did.
Guest producer, no. You've been here long enough. You did enough of these shows in the front end of this train wreck. Junior, what's happening? Jimmy, what's going on? So you guys won the contest. What happened after that? And I'm expecting to hear the explosion of, social media followers, things of that nature. Or am I completely wrong?
This is
I wish
softball. Yeah.
I wish I had the sound effect of a sad trombone going.
Can you put that in right now somewhere?
Yeah. I mean, so we found out very quickly that there is no blow up. I mean, the Food Network world isn't very social media savvy. They're not big YouTube watchers. They're not super active online. So we got crowned the winner. And our show premiered right after that. And this is like Tuesday night, first run, prime time. And we're like, I'm like ready to log on.
We're like drinking beers, getting ready to
celebrate.
celebrate.
We're gonna
domination.
Yeah, we're gonna have more Instagram followers than Kim Kardashian. This is gonna be awesome. And the next day we looked at our social media and we had gained 11 followers on Instagram. And we had lost 3 followers on Facebook.
Well, and 3 of them were my mom under different accounts because she never thought they went through. So she kept trying to create new accounts on Instagram. So it's like, to actually 6 people, I think is what the actual account was. So.
It's funny. We learned very quickly. We were disappointed, but we learned very quickly that, our desire, the end goal for us, by the way, was never to be TV stars. The end goal for us was to build a lifestyle brand around the modern dad, with the backbone of that being food and cooking. So for us, the Food Network was, a part of, one cog in the wheel, so to speak, to help build this brand. But the reality is, we realized that the Food Network show and our plan came sooner than expected. But it's the starting line, not the finish line. It's the starting line of a lot of work to do. And we very quickly realized, if we want to get tons of followers, we got to go out there and we got to take them. We got to give them good content on social media. We have to do all these things. And as an example, we were trying to tie our show into social media. So we told the Food Network, hey, our show's on Friday nights. Every time there's a new episode, we want to release a video of Faye and I cooking one of our favorite recipes from the show at home on the grill. And their response to that was, please don't do that. We had said to them, hey, why don't we invite some influencers to be in the episode, because there's people sitting in the restaurant eating. We know a lot of these people. They would love doing it. And then we can send them a little clip of them in the show and they can help promote the show. And they said, no, we don't have, that doesn't make any sense to us. So, from a social media world specifically, and from building a brand world, we knew that what we needed to do was leverage the credibility that we were getting out of the Food Network show to get more business sound opportunities for us as far as creating this brand.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Nice. So let's get into the brass tacks of today's show. How did you guys get approached on doing a cookbook? And we're here to talk about, I love this. This is the best title of a cookbook I've ever heard or ever read.
Thanks, man.
The best grilling cookbook ever written by 2 idiots.
Try and poke a hole in that title, by the way.
You can't.
It's bulletproof.
Ironclad.
It gets your attention because right there, you just read it. If you're at a bookstore and you see this and you read the title, you are forced
to buy it,
to pick it up or buy it just to see what the hell's going on in it.
Yeah,
And
you should read some of the endorsements on the back for your audience too.
let's
Very important,
see.
Famous people.
Who gave you my new phone number? From Guy Fieri. I have no plans to read this book from Jet Tia. Who? Oh, shit.
Manit Chawan.
Manit Chawan. You two told me that if I did your podcast, you'd leave me alone. Rocco DeSpirito. You guys got a book deal? Oliver Hudson.
Nice.
That's
what happens when we asked our friends to endorse our book.
That's what I was saying. That's true friendship right there. That is true friendship right there. And if you can't realize that those comments were truly made out of fucking love, you got no business even bothering. Because that's what this is all about. Like I had said, you guys kept it real. You could see your passion and your energy and your love for doing what you guys are doing. And, so did every one of these. That's why these comments are so, tongue-in-cheek, that they see that too. And that's saying something with those names right there. But how were you approached on doing the book?
I mean, Mark, did they come to us first, or did we go?
They did.
So we got reached out by Page Street, which is our publisher, and consequently our distributor is Macmillan. So it's a large group that does that. They kind of work with the publishers, but we got approached to think about doing a cookbook, and if we did, what would it be? And past their better judgment, I think we said, well, we really have one thing to say. If we can, if those two, we get a lot of people ask us, how are you guys getting so many people like asking you how to cook and do these things? I said, well, the reality is we're so relatable, because if those two idiots can do it, anyone can do it. So we've used this phrase as a superpower for us. And, there are a lot of great chefs in the world, and we don't take away from any of that, but we can crush it on the grill. And we're from the school of hard knocks. We're not trained chefs. We haven't gone to culinary school. I know a lot of people in this in particular, and whether it's the cuisine of barbecue or just using grills, there isn't a lot of schooling necessarily like you would get if you're, it's a chef de cuisine at the French Laundry, right? However, equally great food is being put out. So that became our moniker. If those two idiots can do it, so can I. And by the way, for brands, they love that. We're a bridge for conversation. We're a bridge between demographics. We're a bridge between ethnographics, like you name it. And all this marketing speak I'm using right now. But what's cool is we kind of are your uncles, brothers, friends, dads, neighbors, guys over the fence. We're the first at the party. We light up the grills. We make great food for everybody, kids, families, girls, you name it. And we're always the last ones to leave because we're cleaning up. So it's truly, this cookbook has inherently the idea of being a modern dad in it. And which is, we actually aren't your New Balance braided belt wearing grass mowing we like to mow grass too, but we're just not your stereotypical dads.
Yeah.
And, when we met with the publisher, look, here's the deal. Like we've had conversations about cookbooks before. And the reality is that, when we first came out on the Food Network, we were, patting ourselves on the back for a second. We were measured enough to know that it was too soon, especially seeing like what the connectivity was between the show and any other opportunities or social media. We're like, we need to build this brand before we get there. And so when we met with Page Street, we told them, we're like, hey, our lens on food, our point of view is making, fun, different things attainable for people, which is, like Faye said, if these two idiots can do it, anyone can do it. And the publisher said, hey, how about we call the book the best fucking grilling cookbook ever written by two idiots? And we're like, you're our guy. Yeah, I'm like, you get it, because we, this isn't meant as a criticism, but there's a lot of cookbooks, especially, again, this is not a barbecue cookbook. This is a grilling cookbook, but there are a lot of barbecue cookbooks that are incredibly derivative of each other. and they have beautiful pictures. They have a couple different rib recipes. They have a fast brisket. They have a regular, and it's like somebody's like uses a little more salt or a slightly higher temperature. But you know, it's all a lot of the same stuff. And what we said to the publisher is, hey, we want to make a splash. You know, like we're okay if people read this book and decide to cancel us and say this is the worst thing ever written. But for us, what we're scared of is writing a safe book that disappears into the world of the middle. So we're going to swing for the fences. If we strike out, no problem. But we're not shooting for a single here. And they really embrace that. And they let us do really stupid things like put the sticker on the front of this that says future New York Times bestseller.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Or like
freaking
have
tremendous.
little sections in there that called just the tip with, you know, our faces in there. So we left in some of the editor's notes, you know, where you'll see red pen marks that we left in. Like there's one recipe that said, if you make this recipe, you definitely will get laid. And they circled that said, Fey, you know, you can't say this. We can't make that claim. And we left it in there.
I think that's the one that they actually said we couldn't leave it.
Like it is actually the one. Yeah. But I think, you know, look, we need levity and humor in our lives now with everything we've all just gone through in 2.5 years, etc. Like, I don't think there's a better time to enjoy the human condition together and have some fun doing it and laugh a little bit. Like we're laughing at ourselves, but you know what? The food and the photos and the recipes, the development are top notch.
Yeah.
And we're really, really proud of the food. So yeah, we may make jokes and have some fun, but at the end of the day, it's a solid 62 recipe cookbook that we're really, really proud of with Eva Longoria's recipe in there.
Yes, I saw that with the you know, forward by Eva Longoria Baston. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. But let's get into the table of contents real quick, because like you said, you wanted to have fun with everything and keep the levity high. The titles of each chapter, guys, you just keep the ball rolling. Chapter 1, steakhouses suck. Make a better steak at home. Okay, that's to the point. All right, you know,
like we decided in this book, just say it.
That's it. Chapter 2, we're bringing poultry back. Yeah. You know, this little piggy went on the grill. Factual statement right there.
One of my favorites.
International men of mystery. You know, so you get in like the Mexican street corn salad, Korean barbecue ribs, potatoes, bravas, poutine. You know, next chapter. Not meat, but don't worry, there's more meat. You know, it's just fantastic. Hoagie's heroes. You know, so, you know, that might be dating yourselves a little, boys.
You know,
we
know. We know.
Obviously, I know exactly where that one came from.
That was actually for you. Exactly.
I'm in on that.
Yeah, you're in on it.
I know nothing. Breakfast, second breakfast, and brunch. I like how you boys think. Things you eat while grilling. That's an important chapter.
It is.
You know, you always need snacks. You got to keep up your energy while you're manning that grill. It gets hot, you know. So, you know, the last thing you want is the grill master, you know, passing out face first in the food, because not only you got one person going to the hospital for burns, but all the food's gone too. You know, there's principalities involved here.
Absolutely.
You know, then every single grilled dessert recipe you will ever need to know.
And do you see how many are in there?
1. Grilled donut ice cream sandwiches.
I'm interested.
Let's go to page 191.
They let us take some like fun stabs. I mean, we make a lot of like trying to be like edgy statements, and they're not meant to be edgy. They're just how we feel. And like you said, we're just going to say it. It's like grill marks are for posers, right?
Yeah.
We do a rib sandwich, and it's called the McGood rib sandwich. We do,
or Mark. The other one is we have the meats. Our roast beef, Sammy.
Yeah, our beef and horsey sauce sandwiches. We have the meats.
We have the meat. That's
although Mark, I got to say, I think you came up with this. It's the greatest recipe title in the whole book is Schnitzel I didn't even know her. So there's
my wife is over here dying right now because she's Austrian, so she knows everything with schnitzel growing up. So she is absolutely losing her stack right now. Oh, that is so funny. But yeah, like you guys were saying, the pictures are fantastic. You know, they show the texture. You know, if you got some like olive oil floating on top, like right here, in the you're my baba ganache with quick grilled flatbread. You know, you can see the olive oil floating on top. You know, the colors pop. There's definition and everything. And it's beautiful. And what I also like is on each recipe, you have on this one, the Korean barbecue beef ribs. Serves 4 to 6, prep time of 2 hours, grill time 6 to 6.5 hours. Or you get to, the jalapeno stuffed pork tenderloin. 4 to 6, prep time 24 hours, cook time 35 minutes. You're giving that time frame of each recipe to give, because that's the one question. Well, how long is this going to take?
Yeah.
You know, with the barbecue world, we always deal with, how long is this brisket going to take? Well, the correct answer is till it's done.
Well, it's funny when we first talked to the publisher, the one thing that we weren't seeing eye to eye on in the beginning was we wanted to have a technical book on how to cook this type of stuff that would allow you to have an understanding at the end of the why in the recipes, and suggest alternatives like here you could do this, here you could do that. And their take was, no, people want finished recipes. But we ended up coming up with this blend of the two, where in the upfront of each chapter, like in the Steakhouses Suck chapter, we have this whole section called, steak tips for ballers or whatever it is. And it tells you about, choice, prime, Wagyu, American Wagyu, Kobe steak, why you would buy each one, different types of steaks, what the different cuts are, where they come from, and how you would cook them generally. And then we give people some information along the way, like why we're doing this. Why do you salt the chicken 24 hours in advance? Why do you take the steak out of the fridge, 2 to 3 hours before you cook? And so what we're hoping is people get this book and they love it so much, they cook a bunch of the recipes. And then after they've done all the recipes in this book that they want to do, they go to the grocery store and go up to the butcher and look and see what looks good.
Yeah.
And they have an idea. Oh, I know what I'm going to do with that. And then they go to the vegetable section, pick up the vegetables to support that idea for the protein. And then they because Faye and I get so much joy out of being creative when we cook, not just executing a good dish. It's coming up with something, putting our own twist on it. So hopefully at the end, we've given people great recipes plus enough information that it's going to, spur some creativity for them as well.
Perfect. Like I said, guys, I absolutely love the book. Yeah, I think it's going to be an absolute success for you guys. But unfortunately, we are up against the time. This shit goes real quick. It is.
Yep.
Well, it's because you had 27 minutes of commercials up front, man.
Gotta pay the bills. Gotta pay the bills.
Someone's got to pay for this shit, right?
Now, is the book officially out yet? Because I know they've been having some issues with printing and that logistics stuff, that some of the books have gotten originally pushed out a little bit from the initial release date.
No, we actually have ours in line. We're pre-ordered now. Everyone will get their books on June 7th. So Our hard date is June 7th. We're going to be on the Today Show on June 8th, talking about it in New York City. We're going to be on Howard Stern's wrap-up show as well. So, check it out. The pre-orders you can get right now on Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble. But they will be in stores in lots of different places. They're going to be on e-com on Target and Walmart and some others. But yeah, encourage everyone to grab it, and then make sure you follow us on Instagram to see a lot of the way that we're making a lot of these recipes after we launch the book. So.
Oh, for sure. And, last but not least, where can everybody find you on all the social media platforms?
Every single
we're-
one is at the Grill Dads. So Instagram, Facebook, TikTok,
our
all
website.
are at the Grill Dads. And we just it's kind of funny. We've spent a lot of time talking about the book the last month or so, but we just relaunched thegrildads.com. And we have over 70 awesome recipes on there, totally searchable, beautiful photos, how-to videos. And we have some merch there as well. So a great place to check out some of our recipes.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, Ryan, Mark, thank you so much for taking the time to join me. Like I said, I absolutely love it. I think you're going to have a complete success on your hand. That little sticker might not actually be a joke.
Oh man,
This
I
could
hope you're right,
definitely
brother. I
get
hope
there.
you're right.
These recipes look and sound absolute delicious. I can't wait to jump in and try some of them. But give me 1 second. I'll jump right back into you. Let me close this out. But awesome. Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it.
A pleasure as always.
Yep. So, guys, check that out. Get your pre-orders now. That's the best grilling cookbook ever written by two idiots from the Grill Dads. Available for pre-order. Release date in all the stores on June 7th. Next week, we have the reschedule of Pat Martin from Martin's Barbecue Joints. He's joining us to talk about his book, Live Fire, which is going to be fantastic. But catch the audio wherever podcasts are found. Catch the video on Facebook and YouTube. YouTube, hit the subscribe button and notification bell. You'll have all 201 episodes right there at your fingertips. Social media, find us at all the links down below. Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, all that stuff. Questions and comments, please send to Pit Life BBQ Podcast at gmail.com. And like always, subscribe, like, rate, and review. Hit that share button. And until next week, guys and girls, keep that smoke rolling.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.